Okay, yesterday we saw the 10 Hanoim that Yeshua bin Nun went ahead and he made conditions upon entering Eretz Yisrael. And today we're going to see 10 Takanas of Ezra. I'm going to see the 10 Dvarim that were Nemru b'Yerushalayim. So we're up to Pei Beis Amid Aleph. We're 2, 4, 6, 8, about 9 lines down. So Asar Takanos Tikkun Ezra. So the Toras Chaim says that just like Yeshua bin Nun led us into Eretz Yisrael, the first Bia Rishona, and he was master 10 things. The Bia Shnia, which was led by Ezra, also was metaken 10 things. Very nice symmetry over there. And his first one was that Shekorin b'mincha b'Shabbos. You should go ahead, Wad, and you should lane by Mincha Shabbos. We'll see why. Again, first we're going to list them, and then we'll go over all of them. 2, the Koirin b'Sheni b'Chamishi. You read on Mondays and Thursdays. Notice he didn't say anything about Tachnan, right? He said Mondays and Thursdays. You go ahead, Rad, and you lane. 3, B'Danin b'Sheni b'Chamishi, and they would judge on Mondays and Thursdays. 4, Umechabsin b'Chamishi b'Shabbos, and they would go ahead, Rad, and they would cover Shabbos Kodesh. They would wash their clothing on Thursday. 4, that was 4. Umechabsin. I just lost the place, and I got it. Shum be'erev Shabbos, and Friday they would eat garlic. And 6, the shetehei isha mashkama v'oifa, a woman would get up and bake. When in the days that she baked, that niyam should be around. And 7, who shetehei isha chageres b'sinor, a woman should go ahead and she should have a sneas, wear some type of garment, some type of garment. And 8, ushtei isha chefefes v'tayveles, and she should go shampoo and be tayvel. And 9, sheiroich lemachzirin bayaros, that you have people go, perfume merchants going from city to cities. And number 10, v'tikin tefillah, the balei kriyan, they were metaken tefillah for people who he was metaken, most famous one, for balei keri, famous balei keri. I don't know why he goes ahead and calls me in the middle of the year. Okay, and they were taking tefillah for balei kriyan. They were metaken tefillah for what? For when a person lived with his wife, he's a balei keri, he would have to go to the mikvah. Okay, those are the 10. Now let's go over each and every one of them. Sheyei korin b'mincha b'Shabbos. There were people who literally sitting on street corners. They would go ahead and they would sit on the street corners, and they would not go ahead and be available on Mondays and Thursdays. So they would miss the Kriya on Mondays and Thursdays. So in shul, ostensibly they'll be in shul on Shabbos, so they should lane for that reason. Ushei koirin b'sheni b'chamishi, you'd lane on Mondays and Thursdays. Moshe Rabbeinu was metakna. Tanya v'yelchu shlosh yom v'midbar. They went 3 days in the midbar. V'leimatzu mayim. They didn't find any water, right? I believe this is this week's parsha, right? And they didn't find any water. V'leimatzu mayim. Darshe b'shumas amru ein melatayra. And it says they went 3 days. They didn't find mayim, means they didn't find Torah. They didn't find Torah. Anyone who's thirsty, so nilu, they became tired. They lacked of ruknius. So Moshe Rabbeinu stood up. You lay on Shabbos itself. You mafsik on Sunday. Karim b'sheni, you lay on Monday. Mafsik and shlishi revi'u, you mafsik Tuesday and Wednesday. V'karim b'chamishi. Umafsikin erev Shabbos kadesh le'yilin gimel yom b'lei Torah. You should not go 3 days without Torah. The Toras Chaim speaks out beautifully that we know that 3 is the chazaka. I mean, the Gemara in Kedushin tells us barasi Yetzirah, barasi Torah tavlin. I created Yetzirah, and I created the spice for the Yetzirah is Torah. So 3 constitutes a chazaka. So if you go 1 day without Torah, the Yetzirah is getting you. 2 days without Torah. 3 days without Torah, you have the chazaka already, then he might be muhsik in you. So therefore, in order to avoid that, not to go 3 days without Torah, at most 2 days without Torah, they were attacking Mondays and Thursdays. So the kasher is that Moshe Rabbeinu was metakenit. So how can you say Ezra was metakenit? You say Ezra, the second takon of Ezra was what? B'sheni chamishi, l'chayra, Moshe was metakenit. And for the Gemara, meikora tiknu chad gavra tilsa psuke. Moshe was metaken one person to learn 3 psukim. Inami tilsa gavra 3 people tilsa psukim. Kenega kahanim levim Yisraelim. Each one pasuk. Asahu came along Ezra and Tikin tilsa gavre 3 people vasar pasukim. Keneged asar batlanim. Keneged the 10 people who are always available for the minyan in the city. The 10 people always available. Shitim kubetzes, guys. Here's your 10. You have 3 dayanim, is 3. 2 people who are what the gabait tzedakah. That's 5. The one who's Messiah, the gabait tzedakah, is 6. The sefer of the city is 7. The scribe of the dayanim is 8. The shamish is 9, and the mikri dartki and the one who teach the kiddies is 10. So you always have 10 people available, and it's connected asar batlanim. So that was the so just to keep score over here. Okay, I sent out 2 things today. One is I'm looking at the little chart with my name on it. The second thing I sent out, guys. The second thing I sent out. So the first one, Shekorim b'mincha b'Shabbos, that the Yoshvi Kronis that weren't here on Mondays and Thursdays should hear. And number 2, Korim b'Sheni b'Chamishi, 3 people. The Takana was 3 people and 10 Pesukim keneged what the Asar Badlam. So you can keep that available, and we will go on. We'll keep that available, and that's we'll keep on keeping score so you don't get so lost. Bedonim b'sheni b'chamishi, right? And why Mondays and Thursday? The shchichi the asul l'mikra b'sifra, because of the second takon of Ezra, they're going to come to your laning, so they'll meilomat, right? We had the first Mishnah right, and why Basul get married on a Wednesday? Shemleisha Tanis Basulim Yashkim the best on Thursday. So this is the takon of Ezra. So that's number 3. And number 4, sheyu mechabsim b'chamishi b'Shabbos. Why would they? Number 4, why would they go ahead and do their laundry on Thursday? Is mishum kavod Shabbos, because of kavod Shabbos. Number 5, usheyu oichlin shum be'erev Shabbos. They would go ahead and eat garlic on erev Shabbos. Mishum oina. It seems that for the male, I guess it's the natural testosterone is garlic. And Yichsiv, it says Shapiro Yitain Beitoi, from Yehuda Vitema, Rav Nachman, Vitema Rav Kahana, Vitema Rav Yochanan, Zeh Mashamash Mitasam Yev Shabbos Never Shabbos. Yitain Piri Yitoi, you'll get your children in its proper time. As far as the Talmud Chacham, the only Talmud Chacham to have Tashmish on Friday night. Okay, Tana Rabbanah, Chamisha Devarim then will be Shum, right? Maspiyah Shum has the ability to satiate. Umashkin, it heats up the body. Umatzal ponim, and it gives a shine to the face. Umaba hazera, and increases the zera of an individual. It kills any parasites that are in your intestines. Yeshoimim machnis ava umoitzi esakina, and those who say that what it brings in ava, and it goes ahead what, and it's moitzi kina, and it goes ahead and gets rid of what kina from the person has in the heart. It causes a person to love other people, and it's moitzi es hakina. This is the therapeutical advantages of garlic. Ushetei isha. Is this garlic is such a good thing? I mean, they use it as I mean, I personally, the smell of it is like awful, but
today we know it's good for the immune system, but
yeah.
as far as other,
yeah.
The Russians do everything garlic.
What? The Russians?
Everybody knows harder to eat with garlic.
it was vodka.
The Russians,
Vampires though.
Yeah, vampires don't like garlic. Our doctor gives us that scientific addition to the share. I look at him. I look at him as a scientific proof. And of all people, I'd expect that from Benji. I expect that from Benji or a Hutch in a blog, but garlic from the doctor, the medical doctor, not even a PhD. You know, a woman, they would go ahead and get up, that they get up and they would bake, to provide, to make sure that the aniyim, right, that's right, they should hey pas mitzuyah aniyim, that possibly found out for the aniyim. Okay, in other words, they didn't bake every day, but when they bake, they would get up early to make sure that it's there. Okay, isha chageres besiner, a woman would go wear some type of apron. It's a Meiri said it was worn over. It was worn over herself that she shouldn't roll up her sleeves. Mishum tzniusa. Very interesting. My grandmother, Olav Shalom, she came to the United States in 1912. She was born in Galicia. She came in 1912, so she lived basically her whole life in America. I still remember her Friday night. She had a little apron she put on special to light licht. It's not Chassidim. It's right back to my grandmother. You're bringing the Chassidim.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm actually believe Shalom. We have a shkafitza. It's lashon Rambam Hilchos Shuva. Now, my grandmother would put on this little scener, and I think this is the source for it. It was in, it was like Ashim Mechabit Shabbos. There was a special tznius, a special apron, the scener Lekavit Shabbos Kodesh. It's very. I never. My mother, I don't see anyone else do it, but it seems to be it must be she had a Masorah from her mother, I guess, that was passed down. It would be from this Takana Israel. Very nice, very nice minig. Okay, let's look at our cheshbon we have so far. Okay, let's look at your chart. Okay, I put everything down so far. So you have you're reading on Mincha Shabbos because of the Yesh V'Karnas on Mondays and Thursdays. You're reading Mondays and Thursdays, 3 people, 10 psukim, even though Moshe was metakim 1 to 3 or 3 to 1, right? You're judging on Chamishi because people are on Monday and Thursdays because people are found because of the laning. You're mechasim mechishi b'Shabbos. You're washing because of Kavod Shabbos. You're reading Shum because of Oina, the mitzvah of Oina, and Anisha should go ahead and get up and bake is because that you have possibility for the niyam, and she would be chageres asina because what? Because of Mishum Sniusa. Okay, that's number 7. Now we're up to 8, 9, and 10. Let's see them inside 8, 9, and 10. The takanis of Ezra. Let's see the takanis of Ezra 8, 9, and 10. Isha chayfefes v'tayveles. A woman should shampoo and separate her hair and be toivel. So it's mashma that what this is takana what of Ezra. It's mashma. It's a takana of Ezra. The reason why you have to go ahead and be chayfefes is you're worried about a chatzitza. Right, that you should worry about a chatzitza. The Tanya, it says v'rochat says besaro b'mayim, and it says shalo yehidav v'chaytis being besaro l'mayim. That shouldn't be any chatzitza between what between the basar and mayim. What's es besaroi? Es hatafel besaroi means the skin. So therefore, what do you tell me that Ezra came up with this takana of combing the hair? Umay neu zeseir. That's the hair. So therefore, there should be a chatzitza. The hair should be a chatzitza in the hair. So Amru, they said, Deraisa le'yune. Deraisa, it's enough to check and look. Dilma mikter, perhaps there is some type of knot. Inami mois midi, something that is dirty. Mishum chatzitza, they wear a chatzitza on the base. The asa ihu, and came along Ezra, the tikkun chafifa. Sheish gavei toichet the roish with a masrek, with a comb. In other words, that afilu a suffer chatzitza would not be taken care of. So he went the extra mile by going ahead and instituting what? A masrek, a comb. Ushay roichlin machzirim be'yoris mishum tachshitei nashim, and that peddlers would go around selling perfume because of tachshitei nashim. Kadesh lo yiskanu al baleim. They shouldn't become niskana to the husband. They shouldn't be unattractive to the husband. So therefore, the perfume and jewelry and whatnot to go ahead and be attractive to the husband. We'll discuss this in a minute. The Gemara v'tikkun tefila lebalei kriyin. He was metakin tefila for the balei kriyin. That a person went to we had this Masechta Brachas. We did it with Balkari goes to the mikvah, right, and learn Torah. What's the reason? The Raisa dechsiv v'ish ki seitzi menashich v'zera brachas b'sora b'mayim. So l'chayra, what's the takana? So the Raisa hu l'trum v'kodshim. The Raisa is that you're a person's might see zera. He's tamei, and he has to go to the mikvah. It's full yoim. And then each trumas and kachim in the evening. Asahu tikkun afilu the Torah. Came along Ezra and he was metakin afilu bat for the Torah. That a person who, in order to learn Torah, should have to go to the mikvah. We would give the reason that a person should not be. The Gemara in Bracha said a person should not be found around his wife like a rooster in a hen house, right? To go ahead because if he's going to have to it'll be a deterrent. Every time he's with his wife, right, he's going to have to go to the mikveh, and trust me, they didn't have the warm mikvahs in those days. Trust me, it was a kalta mikveh. Okay, so those are the 10 things. Just the final 3, right? With a comb, in order that there should be takshitin found, either perfume and jewelry found for the wife, that she should be attractive for her husband. So this is the Takanas of Ezra. Okay, there's the first thing I sent out, guys, is really fascinating. The first thing I sent out is really, really geschmack. You see anything, guys, on the screen? Can you see anything? You do see it? Okay, good. This is, I bring in the Meshech Chochmah often. Rav Meir Simcha wrote in his lifetime a sefer called the Or Sameach. So when you think of Or Sameach, you think of the yeshiva, because the yeshiva was named after him. The Or Sameach. My Rebbe Zatzal said when the Or Sameach came out, he told me, he said he couldn't put it down. He said, Leza, ich habe gelernt das in 10 Tagen. I said, be a bestseller. He said he went through it in 10 days like a bestseller. It would take me 10 days to go through one piece. I mean, it's very, very safer really on the Rambam, on Yerushalmi, but here and there, Rameh Simcha gives us a little nugget, like very, very something Meshech Chochmah that we can apply hashkafically. And here, this is found in the Hilchas Yisuri Bia. Those who are interested, Hilchas Yisuri Bia. It's Perik Hey, Perik Dalet Halacha Ches. And here's what Rameh Simcha says. Rak takona shehema moilim el kiyam ha'uma ulechaye hamishpacha. The purpose of Ezra's takanas, fellas, was to have the nation be fulfilled. In other words, the ongoing kiyam of Klal Yisrael, and for Chai Mishpacha, there should be shalom bayis. There should be shalom bayis. So two aspects of his takanas: one, the continued existence of Klal Yisrael, and 2, that there should be a kiyum between male and female, between man and wife. That men should be attached to their wives, and not divorce them. Ezra. Malachi, according to Rav Nachman in Masechta Megillah, is Ezra, and he gave them mussar about divorcing their wives. So these takanas were to make the wives as attractive as possible to avoid what? To avoid gerushin. Ulechein, therefore, tikin roichlim, he was matakin roichlim, pedlers, bechafifa, and to make sure that they went to the mikvah, shema yimtza bon nima kshura, lest they find a nima kshura. He's learning chafifa is by saying makim, that maybe you'll find a nima kshura, k'moshe darshu al batiznach alav pilakshay, but the ma'aseh pelegish begiva, which we saw in the early part of Masechta Gittin, where Loyalenu, as a result of this person finding a hair, he went ahead and he was so angry, and this pelegish left, and it led to a civil war in Shevet Binyamin and Klal Yisrael. We went through this. V'al Tamar Perek Sanhedrin, the tikin she mechabsin v'oichlin shum, and then metakin they should wash their clothing, and oichlin shum, so they should be neat. And he should be what? He should eat garlic to increase his desire. She should be attractive. The gam tefillah balei keren. Also, that since they have to go to the mikvah all the time, so therefore marital relations won't be so common. It'll be withheld. So all this is to enhance the marriage. It's a beautiful insight, guys. All this is to enhance the marriage, to go ahead to create shalom. Now that wasn't the only part. And that is, his wife should be what? Very, very dear to him. The Gemara asks, okay, we could skip this for a second. To go ahead and literally ordain or in ornament, like the kashet, to be makashet, to make bejewel the nation, in order to get rid of they were going out with goyish women. That who V'ziknei Doirei, that Malachi, that Ezra it was intermarriage, and he's worried about them, and he said, go ahead and send away. The Gemara in Sanhedrin speaks about what is Gilead Royas, Lemor, that you should go ahead and send away your wives, your foreign wives, and take the Jewish women. Mitzad Chatzitza, Havi La'ayin, Aval Lisrek, Masrek, Hawaliyafwais, Ulakashet, Nasi Yisrael, Ulakashet Leva Ba'aleim, Lahem, Latayelis Kiyama Uma, Vizebir Etzli, Beshitas Rabbeinu Zatzal. And this is how beautiful Hezbollah and the other things, of course, the ones that were for the purpose of Torah. It's good. It looks just like a fog there. It's foggy. It's foggy, right? Why is it?
Yeah, it got, in the middle of that discussion, it got foggy.
Let's unfog it. Better?
Fine.
Okay. The old-fashioned way. Anyway, so I think a beautiful Ar Sameach, definitely bloggable. Beautiful Ar Sameach to go ahead and bring out what the 10 takanas were, the kiyum of the through Torah, right? The Sheni, Bechamishi, those. And in addition, to go and enhance the Shalom bias, right? Ben Ish for Isha, beautiful takanas Ezra, beautiful Ar Sameach. Beautiful Ar Sameach. Okay. The next list, guys, is also, I have it over here, but of course I don't have it anymore because I did a stupid thing. Okay, let me. Okay, the next list is the 10 things that, hopefully you could see this, right? Could see this, guys? Asar Devarim Nemru B'Yushalayim. 10 things they say about Yerushalayim. That's the bottom of the list. You don't have a Nidachas, and that's in a second. There's a thing, guys, Bati Arichaima, guys, Bati Arichaima, that if you go ahead and sell your house in a walled city, you have a year to go ahead and redeem it. If Yerushalayim is a walled city, it doesn't apply there. And Eina Mevi an Egla Rufa, that Yerushalayim can never bring an Egla Rufa. Eina Nasas Yernidachas, the halach of Yernidachas, where Roiv of the city was over by the Zara, and they have to be killed through the sword, was not possible in Yerushalayim. Number 4, Eina Metama Negoyim, Tumas Negoyim, it was not shaykh to Yerushalayim. Number 5, Emoitzi and Zizin, because just Rosh, you couldn't go ahead and have coming out of the house like a Mexican hacienda. Yeah, hacienda? Yeah, right. You have those protruding, those beams, you can't have those out. Enoisin, Ashpasos, they didn't make garbage dumps in Yerushalayim. Enoisin, Kivshanis, they didn't make kilns in Yerushalayim.
Right. Just
Yeah.
a question, if you don't mind. Doesn't the Gemara say that Ir Nidachas never happened? So why did they make it Takana just for Yerushalayim? Or for
What do you think? What's the answer to your question?
was just happened that it never happened, or
Is there a halacha of Ir Nidachas?
what is that?
Is there a halacha of Ir Nidachas?
You have to destroy the city.
Correct. So there is such a halacha, correct?
Yes,
Would it apply to Tveria if it happened?
I guess yes. Okay, I hear why they did it, but
Would
she's
it
saying
apply-
coincidentally,
would it apply to Yerushalayim?
no.
But that's the answer to your question.
Okay, I got
And now, number 8, they didn't make gardens and orchards there. Number 9, they didn't raise chickens in Yerushalayim. And finally, they didn't leave a mace overnight in Yerushalayim. To this day, that is in vogue. Okay, so now let's go ahead. We'll see Bez Hashem. We'll see all these and their reasonings, and very interesting Gemara Baruch Hashem. Okay, says the Asar Devarim Nemru B'Yerushalayim Eina Bayis Cholet Ba. There's no din of a house in Yerushalayim being cholet, being okay, again, you have a year to redeem it. That's in a normal place in Yerushalayim. The halacha it didn't exist. Why is that? Why is that going down? Eine bei Scholba in Mavia Eglarufa in necessary Dachas in Matam and the Goyim. Ein might seem Bazizim because just voice, they noisen ba Ashbasos, they noisen ba Kivshanos, they noisen ba Guinness Pradisios, Klitz Miginas Rodin. There's a very there's roses. Shay most in the VM Rishonim. They megadlim but Tangoyim, they malim by Yasames overnight. Ein Abayas call it, but Chsiv, it says, will come Abayas Asherloi. The bayit that is his. Chaimel it's Smisus. It has to be belong to him. Lekoino Isoyle Deiroisav. Ukasavel in Yerushalayim l'Shvatim. Yerushalayim, there was no owner. Yerushalayim was a city that wasn't owned by any. And the Shvatim wasn't the schalik to the Shvatim. So the Rashi in Erech and Chav Beis, Amid Beis says there was no makna. There was no person to go ahead and bequeath, in a sale. There's no sale because there's no person to be makna. If you find a dead body ba'adama, Hashem lekech nice and lechol l'rishta, that Hashem gives you l'rishta as what? As a inheritance. The Yerushalayim le'neschalka l'shvatim. Yerushalayim was not what? Divided up by the shvatim. So memela what? There's no Yerusha, and therefore what? No egla rufa. Veinu nasaser nidachas dechsiv irecha Yerushalayim irecha. It says and Yerushalayim le'neschalka l'shvatim. It's your city, and what? But by nidachas, right? What's the lashon? By nidachas. Ki matzachol ba'adam Hashem elkech and nice and lechol l'rishta. No. Ki sishma ba'achad ba'arecha Hashem elkech nice and lechol l'shebesh. Ki sishma ba'achas arecha. One of your cities. So this Yerushalayim can't be your city because it was not divided up among the shvatim. Ve'enu b'tam negoyim d'chsiv nasati negoyim tzaras bebeis eretz achuzaschem. Yerushalayim lo nischak l'shvatim. Achuzasna means your Yerusha. So again, this reasoning that it's not divided up takes care of what? Of the first few of the halachas stated regarding Yerushalayim. They might see in bazizim v'gustrash, right? Gezus tarois. These are again projectiles coming out. If they oil atuma, because while oil atuma, umishim loy litzke oil regalim. Now, if it's high and people pass by it, this tuma, it'll be a tuma. If it's slow and people run into it, it'll be masik them. So the higher ones for tuma, the lower ones because what? Of damaging. So therefore, they didn't have these houses that had roofs that projected out into the Rishus Rabbim. What do you find in Ashba? You find shkotzim in Yerushalayim. We had plenty of kotchim and tyrus and Maisa Sheni, and therefore to avoid any problems of Tumah v'Tayra, there wasn't an Ashba where you can have shrotzim there that might go ahead and be metama. Because of the smoke. The Mevi says you don't want the smoke of the kilns mixing with the smoke of the marach of the mizbeach. So you wouldn't have there. Pashit means that it shouldn't go ahead and make dirty the walls, guys. Right? Pashit, smoke dirties the walls. This is a very geschmacker reason. Because again, the smell of either the smell of the fertilizer. Again, Tanagoyim Mishum Kachim, es hames. And that's Gemara that we have Messiah that you don't leave over a mace. And Yerushalayim, anyone Yerushalayim loyalenu, I was by a levaya where the person died and 2 hours later he was in the keva. He was nifted 2 hours later he was in the keva. I mean, they don't leave overnight. They just don't leave overnight.
The person's into 12 or 1 o'clock.
Again,
Close the cemetery.
yeah, no, they do. They don't bury in the middle of the night, but again, they don't leave it overnight.
See, your places in Square and Muncie, they do.
Right. You with Chassidim again. I'm telling you. Can't get it. Fight him with Chassidim. Bist a yeka. Watch the nights. Yeah.
Not really. Yeah,
Getting back to our Mishnah, you're not Megadol Chazerim B'chol because the following Maisa. If this sounds familiar, we had it in the end of Saita, guys. Again, there was during the Bayesheni, the last of Bayesheni, there was the Chashmonai kings, the Aristobulus and Hyrcanus, and they were fighting, and it was a tremendous tension. And here's what happened. They were fighting with each other. Hyrcanus was inside Yerushalayim, Aristobulus ben Bechutz, and Aristobulus was outside. Notice they had the Greek names. They would lower a box of coins. And they send up the sheep as a carbon tamid. There was a zakin over there. He was who understood Chachmas Yevonis, or Yimach B'Chachmas Yevonis, Amalhem Kol Zman Sha'asukim Ba'avoida. As long as you let them be Geisik Ba'avoida, Einim Sarim B'Yedchem, you're not going to be given over what to them. Lamacha, what should you do? Shilshal Dinarim B'Kupa, Behelu Lehem Chazir. Go ahead, right, and lower Dinar B'Kupa and send up a Chazir. Kimish Agil Chatzi Achayma. Noyatz Tziparna, when they reached half the wall, Chatzi Chayma, half the wall, Noyatz Tziparna B'Chayma, the pig, Noyalenu, literally stuck its hooves into the wall, and it's Nazair, it's Yisrael, Arba Meas Parsa, Arbas Mea Pasla, Eretz Yisrael shook for 400 Parsa to 400 Parsa. It shook all around. Boisa Shah Amru, Oro Ha'ish Shigal Chazerim, cursed is the person who's Megal Chazerim. And curses the one who teaches his son Chacham Yevanis. Usually they bought the Oimer from close to Yerushalayim, but because of the siege around the city, there wasn't any crops there, so they had to go to this faraway place to bring the Oimer, which they Alechem, Bigas Ayin Seicher, and they bought from because a name of a place, they bought what the Shtei Lechem.